We are live at Sapphire Now 2018. I'm Michael Krigsman. I'm an industry analyst and the host of CXOTalk. And we're speaking with Jeff Stevens, Chief Human Resources Officer at Thomas Jefferson University and Health System. Hey Jeff, how are you? And thanks for taking some time.
Thank you, Michael. I'm happy to be here.
So tell us about your organization.
Yep, so Jefferson University is the merger of two universities actually. One a graduate university of a medical school, a nursing school, a school of pharmacy, a school of health professions. That just recently merged with an undergraduate university that was previously Philadelphia University, an old prestigious university whose focus had been on textiles and manufacturing, design, architecture. It's a wonderful marriage of two universities, medicine and design. As well, we have a health system that recently merged. It's actually the combination of 5 formerly independent health systems. So what had been 3 years ago 3 hospitals, Jefferson, is now 16 hospitals.
Wow, a big change.
Big change.
So tell us about your focus as the Chief Human Resources Officer.
So I came to Jefferson just about 3 years ago, and for me it's understanding what each of the divisions had been doing, and it's creating a whole new ecosystem. I've been saying it's a wonderful opportunity for an HR leader to imagine deconstructing legacy programs and systems and policies and reinventing it as if you were building something new today, and that's very exciting.
And it's an extraordinary growth rate as well.
Yeah, it went from, under the brainchild of our CEO, physician Steve Klasko, who's become very renowned for having done this. It's gone from a $1.2 billion enterprise, about 13,000 employees. About 4 years ago, we're now about $5.5 billion, 35,000 employees.
Jeff, the world of HR and talent is changing and it's driving disruption. So from your point of view, what are some of the key changes in the environment that you have to respond to?
Well, jobs are changing and people's interest and how they define their careers are changing. And as I said, being in Philadelphia, 35,000 employees, we have to look internally. It's not that all of our new positions and our new talent comes from the outside. So how you develop people, how you create pipelines of ready people, how you advance people's careers, how you build and deconstruct and reconstruct teams. This is what I'm trying to accomplish.
So deconstruct teams, that's quite an extraordinary thing to say, actually.
Yeah, how do you spread all that talent? How do you align people together, share best practices, share protocols, health protocols, for example, but really maximize, the collective wisdom, the connective wisdom of all these, formerly separate people and organizations.
It sounds like a big part of this is breaking down silos that previously existed. So maybe elaborate on that for us.
Yeah, we can do that by design, what was unavailable to do by consensus. There's too many stakeholders, too many people who have an opinion about that, and that's not wrong. It's just that we're trying to scale it and make it relevant to everyone.
So you're focused on a strategy rather than letting the organization kind of drift amoeba-like.
Yeah. So I have a good example. When the organization had come together, and again, it's been just a short 3 years, but last February, we were trying to negotiate new mission statements and values for, again, these formerly independent organizations. I had the idea to bring people together in what we called Culture Jam. This was a 3-day live online event. 9,000 people from across the system logged on to facilitated conversations, and in real time we were turning around word clouds, we were showing key thoughts and trending topics in this experience, and at the end of it we created for the entire ecosystem a new mission and new values.
Wow, so you're using technology to harness the collective wisdom of the people inside the organization.
Exactly, and create engagement, empower people to speak their mind, create a lot of transparency, let people own it.
Engagement,
Yeah.
So we're here at Sapphire Now, and one of the messages from the keynote this morning was about engagement and experience. And it sounds like customer experience for you is another very important pillar.
Very important. Most people in my seat think first and foremost about the operability of systems, the functionality of systems. I think about the experience of each individual employee.
So software vendors tend to think in terms of systems. You're thinking in terms of experiences. How do you reconcile the two?
I look at systems and I say, how do you make the core system simpler, and then really understand what does an employee at any level of the organization need? How do you make it very dynamic for people and very in front of them?
So with user interfaces that they know, that they understand, that they're comfortable with.
Exactly, and focus people on, where social media is so focused on people's personal experience. I feel this power in focusing people on common mission and common vision and values. So I think there's a lot of, there's a lot of runway left in terms of using social media in business.
Where is this all going? What's your vision for the next few years?
So just getting the foundations in place has been its own big task, and now we're starting to think about how would you use this type of environment? How would you start allowing for mobility, for people to build careers in the system, for people to pick up shifts across the system? How would you define jobs by competencies so that you know where people are competent to serve and let people be much more mobile, right? So, and this is what millennials are asking for. They don't want you to define what's right for them. They want to see what's available and define their own majors and their own careers in an ecosystem like ours. So I feel there's a lot of promise.
So there's then a direct link between what you're doing in HR and the ultimate success of the organization, and also the financial success.
Absolutely. So it's, so I mentioned that we created our new values, and what people spoke to and what I've been pronounced about, it's our first value: put people first. Put people first, be bold and think differently, do the right thing. Those are our new 3 values, and I think that speaks to how I motivate myself.
Okay, Jeff Stevens, thank you so much.
Michael, thank you very much. I enjoyed being part of this.